Hello, hello, hello. Hello. And I'm live. Let's turn you up a little bit and put this into Teams. That is a chat with a student. That is briefing. 9BH2. I'll get out of the way now. Let's see if we can move you forward successfully and still see me. But the board's more important. There we go. That seems to work. This seems to work a little bit better. Just getting us set up and ready. Right, I hope you guys have all been good. I've been rambling now for about a minute, so I'm going to get going. I know I'm a couple of minutes early, but it's so lovely outside. I want to help you get your work done ASAP so that then you can go and sit outside. I hope you've had a wonderful half term and you stayed safe. Now, we are going to carry on with Cold War. So the last thing I got you to do was look at the Long and Novikov telegram. And today we're kind of going to keep it pretty straightforward. Yes, no yawns. I'm going to keep it pretty straightforward and we're going to look at Soviet expansion. Okay. Now, this could be known as something as called, This can be known quite simply as something called salami tactics. Let me write that on the board for you. Okay, there we go, salami tactics. Now, why is it called salami tactics? Well, you've got to imagine that Europe is like a big piece of meat. Now, in salami, there are these little white flecks of like fat. Let me show you. This is really great when you're a vegetarian. So that's what salami looks like. Now, Stalin conquered Europe. They had the Red Army come and surround those little flecks of fat to create this big salami sausage and then make Eastern Europe one big part of the Soviet Union. She is going to work through her yawn. So it's almost like the Soviets and communism and the Red Army are the red bit of the meat. So that red bit. And then the individual states are the flecks of white, the little bits of fat, effectively like salami. So how does Stalin then achieve his expansion? What is his expansion steps? He can't just go into a country and take it over. That's not how it works. There we go. You have to kind of have like a real plan. Now, the first thing that he does is keep his soldiers hanging around. So after World War II, after the Nazis have been defeated, after Japan's been defeated, really, soldiers of America, Britain, France, Russia should pull out of countries and allow them to recover and rebuild from Nazism. However, Stalin's like, no. My Red Army, they're going to stay. So the Red Army would stay in places like Hungary, Poland, Romania, Czechoslovakia, you name it. And they weren't particularly nice to the people. They would steal things from them. They would loot, they would pillage, they would rape, you name it. They weren't particularly nice to their the people that they were occupying. And they were able then to enforce Stalin's directions and orders very, very quickly because he had the Red Army there. That then meant he could set up a communist government very, very, very quickly. So the Red Army would go in, start telling them people what to do, being quite rude, very hard to deal with. And then they would set up this communist government very, very quickly. Now, once the government was in place, you then would have the ability for the government to take over all media, all security, defences. What is going on? I've not yawned once. I didn't yawn on my other live stream. How weird. Um, you would have the government then would have the ability to take over the media, the security defences, and control how defences were deployed, used, get them to be how they were trained so they could be part of the Red Army. The security, so the weapons that any of that they had, they would then be under the directive of this new communist government. And then obviously the media then could be controlled into be putting out just communist propaganda, and no capitalist or anti-communist things could then come out of the media. It was all in support of this new government. The fourth one was kind of Stalin's specialty. He would arrest anyone that disagreed with him, very Hitler-like, and anyone who got in the way, they would be arrested and sent to a gulag, which effectively is the Russian version of a concentration camp. Gulags used to be in Siberia, which Siberia covers about 75% of Russia, and it is part in a complete permafrost, which means that it is permanently snowy. So even now, we are experiencing temperatures about 23, 24 degrees. It's summer, it's starting to get warm, it's getting lighter. There's longer days, it's getting lovely. Not in Russia, okay? In Siberia, I'm so sorry. In Siberia, it is constantly snowy, constantly cold. It's what we know as a permafrost. And finally, even though they've got this kind of temporary communist government set up, the best way then to control and expand communism throughout Europe was to then not allow the people to hold their own elections. So they're allowed to vote for any member of the Communist Party, but that is it. That's as far as it goes. So these were the main kind of basics for what Stalin did to take over these countries. They're the basics. However, things do have to be slightly tweaked with each country. Now, you have a map on the PowerPoint that I've given you that looks like, I'm only going to show you half, but that looks like this. Okay, so you've got Poland, Bulgaria, Romania, Czechoslovakia, Hungary, Yugoslavia. There are 3 steps that Stalin does in each of these countries. What I'd like you to do is use the scanned-in textbook of pages 16 and 17. They are lovely headings there of Poland, Romania, Hungary, Bulgaria, Czechoslovakia, Yugoslavia. So they're all labelled for you, so there's no real excuse that you can't do it. And find me the 3 steps that Stalin used. What 3 of these things did he use to take over that country? The next thing I would like you to do then is to look at the clip of Churchill's Iron Curtain. It is stuck, I think it's attached to the cartoon on slide 4. And I want you to listen to the speech. I want to listen to the language that Churchill uses. Think about how might that impact the relationship between the Soviet Union and the USA. How will that impact Europe, okay? Thinking about what is this going to do, this speech? What does it signal then for Eastern and Western Europe? If you are feeling quite clever, if you're feeling like you want to have a go, have a look at the cartoon on, it said slide 6, it's meant to say 4, and work out what is going on in this cartoon, which I can show you. Bring it up for you. This cartoon here. Tell me what's going on in that cartoon. I've circled some things that I'd particularly like you to have a little look at. What is going on in that particular cartoon? If you need anything, let me know. I do have a staff meeting at 3 o'clock, but otherwise I'll be online. It was only a short one today because Soviet expansion is pretty straightforward, and everything that you need to know is in the textbook. Looking forward to hearing from you soon. See you later. Bye.